Rumors about potential roster moves for the Toronto Maple Leafs have intensified this week. Susan Crosby of the fourth period speculated that a return of Brad Boyes to Toronto might be on the table. While Boyes wasn't initially considered a likely candidate, the trade could benefit both sides. The proposed deal would see Boyes and a prospect joining the Maple Leafs in exchange for Tyler Bozak and John Mitchell. If confirmed, this trade could become one of the most memorable and controversial moves in the team's recent history. On one hand, Toronto would part ways with Mitchell, whose departure might lead to citywide celebrations. On the other hand, the team would be giving up Tyler Bozak, a promising player who had an impressive rookie season but is currently struggling in his sophomore year. Analysts suggest that Bozak's performance this season might just be a case of the sophomore slump, a common dip in production for players in their second year. If this is true, the trade could be risky, especially considering the Leafs' history of letting go of young talents who later blossomed elsewhere. Took a Rask cough. However, if Bozak fails to meet the expectations set by the front office, the trade might work in Toronto's favor. The return of Brad Boyes, who at his peak scored 40 goals in a season, would be a welcome addition. He could potentially fill the void of a reliable center to play alongside Phil Kessel. While there's no official confirmation yet, these rumors have sparked heated debates among fans and analysts alike. The question remains, are the Maple Leafs willing to gamble their future for immediate results? Only time will tell if this speculation turns into reality. Boyes' potential impact extends beyond scoring. His experience and versatility could bring much-needed stability to a Leafs roster often criticized for its inconsistency. At 28 years old, Boyes still has time to make a significant contribution to any team willing to bet on him. Another intriguing aspect of this trade is the prospect involved. While details about who this player might be are scarce, the Leafs management has emphasized the importance of building for the future. Adding a promising young player could soften the blow of losing Bozak and offer long-term benefits. One concern, however, is whether Boyes can return to his top form. Since his 40-goal season, his production has declined. Critics argue that he may no longer be the player he once was, raising questions about whether he can live up to the expectations of Leafs fans. On the flip side, Bozak's departure could leave a void in the Leafs lineup. Despite his current struggles, he has shown flashes of brilliance and chemistry with key players. Trading him might feel premature to some, especially if he bounces back in the future. For John Mitchell, the trade might represent a fresh start. While his tenure in Toronto has been underwhelming, a change of scenery could help him revive his career. If he finds success elsewhere, the Leafs could face backlash for letting him go without giving him more opportunities. From a broader perspective, this potential trade highlights the challenges of balancing short-term goals with long-term vision. General Manager Brian Burke has repeatedly emphasized the importance of making the Leafs competitive now while also planning for sustained success. This deal seems to embody that delicate balancing act. The reaction from fans has been mixed. Some see Boyes as the perfect fit to reinvigorate the team's offense, while others worry about losing Bozak's potential upside. Social media platforms and sports talk shows have been buzzing with opinions, making it clear that this is a polarizing topic. Ultimately, the success of this trade, if it happens, will depend on how both Boyes and Bozak perform in their new roles. For now, all eyes are on the Leafs management as they weigh their options in what could be a pivotal moment for the franchise. A key factor in evaluating this potential trade is the timing. With the NHL trade deadline looming, the pressure is on for teams to solidify their rosters for the stretch run. The Maple Leafs are in a precarious position, needing to address both immediate gaps and long-term consistency. A trade like this, involving both a veteran and young talent, could signal a dual approach to achieving these goals. Another angle to consider is how this trade would impact Phil Kessel. As the team's marquee scorer, Kessel has struggled to find a consistent center to complement his game. Brad Boyes, if he returns to form, could be the playmaker Kessel needs to maximize his scoring potential. Their synergy could transform the Leafs' top line into one of the league's most dangerous. There's also the question of locker room dynamics. Brad Boyes, who previously played for the Leafs organization, could bring a sense of familiarity and leadership to a team that has seen significant turnover in recent years. His presence might help stabilize a locker room that has struggled with cohesion at times. For Tyler Bozak, a trade could be a turning point in his career. While he's faced criticism for his sophomore struggles, a new environment might provide the reset he needs. Players often thrive after a change of scenery, and Bozak's skill set could make him a valuable asset for his new team. Meanwhile, John Mitchell's inclusion in the deal raises eyebrows. While he's not considered a core piece of the Leafs roster, his potential departure is still notable. Mitchell's critics argue that he has underperformed during his time in Toronto, but others believe he hasn't been given the right opportunities to succeed. As for the unnamed prospect potentially included in the deal, their identity could be a deciding factor for fans and analysts alike. If the Leafs acquire a high-upside young player, it might help offset the loss of Bozak and mitigate concerns about trading away a promising talent. Another critical aspect of this trade is its potential ripple effect across the league. A move involving Boyes, Bozak, and Mitchell could set a precedent for other teams looking to make similar adjustments. It might even spark a flurry of activity as the trade deadline approaches, with general managers re-evaluating their own rosters in response. The Leafs fanbase is no stranger to bold moves, but this trade would undoubtedly ignite debates about the team's long-term strategy. Some see it as a sign of the Leafs prioritizing immediate results, while others worry it reflects a willingness to gamble with the team's future. Adding to the complexity is Toronto's recent history of high-profile trades that didn't pan out as expected. Fans still remember past deals that saw young players thrive elsewhere, and many are cautious about repeating those mistakes. The potential loss of Bozak feels eerily similar to those past regrets, amplifying the stakes. In the end, this rumored trade represents more than just a shuffle of players, it's a microcosm of the challenges faced by a franchise trying to balance hope, pragmatism, and expectations. Whether this deal goes through or not, it has already provided a glimpse into the difficult decisions that shape a team's identity and future. The coming days will be crucial as the Leafs front office weighs the risks and rewards. Regardless of the outcome, one thing is certain: this potential trade has sparked conversations that won't die down anytime soon, and the team's next move will be watched closely by fans and critics alike. The possibility of bringing Brad Boyes back to Toronto also raises questions about his current form and durability. At 28 years old, he's not past his prime, but his decline in production over the past few seasons is concerning. The Leafs must carefully evaluate whether he can regain the scoring touch that once made him a 40-goal scorer. Another factor to consider is the pressure that comes with playing in Toronto. Boyes would be returning to one of the most passionate hockey markets in the world, where expectations are sky-high. Some players thrive under this pressure, while others struggle. The Leafs management must weigh whether Boyes has the mental toughness to succeed in such an intense environment. The trade could also send a message about the organization's broader philosophy. By acquiring Boyes, the Leafs would signal a willingness to invest in experienced players who can make an immediate impact. However, this approach might conflict with the team's stated goal of building a sustainable core of young talent. For fans, the inclusion of a prospect in the deal adds a layer of intrigue and potential controversy. If the prospect turns out to be a high-potential player, critics might argue that the Leafs are once again mortgaging their future for a quick fix. However, if the prospect is relatively unproven, the risk is mitigated. Meanwhile, Tyler Bozak's potential departure continues to spark debate. Supporters point to his strong rookie season as evidence of his talent, while detractors argue that his struggles this year are a sign that he may never reach his full potential.